are going live right now. We're going live on everything but Instagram. So I'm going to click over to Instagram and I'm going live on here. Let's see if this works. Go live. I'm clicking it and it's not. Oh, it's okay. It's working. Yay. And now I'm supposed to go on here. Oh, shoot. My video. Oh, shoot. Okay. Just hang on. Nina, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. We're live.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Nina Batista. I am a licensed clinical social worker. I'm intensely trained in DBT. I am a certified trauma professional, and I am also on track to finally, very excitingly, get certified in narcissistic abuse survivor treatment, which is a new development in the clinical field, which we'll be getting into today. I'm very excited to talk about. So, hi guys, thank you so much for joining. Very excited to be here.
I just put you right out there because I'm having the Instagram trouble again. So I'm just going to play with it because I really want this to work with Instagram. And whatever reason, all the other platforms. Okay, it's working. Okay, let's see. It's working.
I get it. Technical difficulties.
All these other platforms, you just go into one place with it. But for whatever reason, Instagram doesn't do that. And you have to play with it. So, I mean, I just had it up and then I closed it. So I lost it. So Nina and I have bonded, we've just kind of like been drawn to one another, which is a beautiful thing that happens in this, in this space that we're in of like helping profession. And then it was funny because we just so happened to not know we were going to see each other yesterday and saw each other yesterday in person. And then now, here we are today. So 2 days in a row, we get to have each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm Amanda Marino. I am the owner of Next Level Recovery Associates, and we do, all kinds of things, which, hold on, let me see. Yasmin's telling me if I'm on or not. Yeah. Okay. We do all kinds of things that are like in addition to whether it's therapy or in addition to therapy, treatment, really anything that's like before, during, and after treatment and add on to therapy, like really just like be able to, implement things in person that, people sometimes go to therapy like once a week. And, what about that in between time? Or if they get a discharge plan, like helping people walk through things. And I think I didn't do this again. I somehow cannot get the damn Instagram to work. I had it up, which is the worst part. And I clicked thing. Hold on, let me see. Okay, preview. Let's see. I'm just really trying to get this to work, but I just don't know if it's going to. Oh, I'm gone. Can you still see me?
I can see you.
Okay, good. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just, I don't know what to do with this. I'm going to give up on the whole Instagram. So yeah, it makes you go into Instagram and I thought Instagram was just like an app. I didn't know you could actually. I'm trying to redo it again. But you can go online. And have you ever gone Instagram like on your PC?
Never on my computer.
I didn't even know you could.
Me neither.
So with this streaming service, it's like Narcissistic. I have to type in the thing again. You're with me.
That's okay. I just directed people to go on Instagram, so I just wanted to make sure they were able to connect in if they wanted to.
Okay, that's good. That's going to be bad if I can't get this to work.
Yeah.
Hold on. So yeah, all the other streaming services, like it's just easy.
Of course, Instagram makes it difficult.
Yeah, they are just new. How do you spell narcissistic? Because I'm trying to do this really quick and put it
Narcissistic.
Okay. Narcissistic.
Narcissistic. Sorry.
Use recovery. So you have to type, I don't know why, for whatever reason. So just bear with us, whoever's watching on Facebook. If you want to say hello, if you want to come up with any questions in relation to this topic, please feel free to ask Nina. Nina is the expert in this area. this is something I've really just kind of learned a bit about in the past few years. So if you want to let your friends know on Instagram, Nina, I cannot figure it out. It's not working. I'm pressing go live and it's just not doing it. So
how would they be able to connect?
We're on Facebook. We're on my Facebook, my LinkedIn, my YouTube. It says we're live. I don't know though, but it doesn't. Let me see if I see it on my Instagram. I hate technology sometimes. It's not my friend. I literally had my girl Yasmin like sit here and walk me through the whole entire thing. So, okay. So we'll be able to share too. You'll be able to share it afterwards with people. We'll give you clips and stuff like that.
Perfect.
Okay. Okay. So Next Level Recovery Associates, we've been open for 4 years. I'm now the sole owner, woman owned, woman run. I have a right hand, Sarah Frias, who's my executive director, and I have Matt Williams, who's our chief heart officer. Love that title. He chose it for himself, but it's 100% him. So we collaborate with programs, we collaborate with therapists. We have a clinical director of our company who oversees all of our cases. We have a psychiatrist who's involved in a lot, but organizations like Nina works with, Therapeutic Oasis, where we had lunch with them yesterday. We partner with organizations like that to be able to offer, the things that are in between or that they can't do in their, group hours. And they're one of the very few. How many programs are DBT certified in the country? 20 something?
33.
33. Okay. So if people are looking for DBT, that is a really rare thing that a lot of people can claim or like include something that, oh yeah, we do DBT, but they truly do DBT there.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into the topic, because I know we were running behind. We had a little technical difficulties. I'm having Instagram technical. It says that I'm live on it, but I don't believe that I am. So let's see. I'm going to, if people have questions, comments, want to say hello, please feel free to say hello to Nina and I. Let us know you're here if there's any questions. And you can also message Nina or I afterwards if it's not something you're comfortable asking, because this is a hard topic, right? So can you let's first go over the few types of narcissism, because that was something I learned from Trisha Young's a few years ago in one of her presentations. Like, I thought narcissism was always this really blatant thing, like you could tell and everybody knew, but it's not always that way. So can you touch on that?
Yes, absolutely. And I'm so excited to be here just because of the development of it, because there's so much that people don't know. And societal narcissism, right? Like, they're making it's so popular right now. Everyone's a narcissist. So really to debunk that stereotype, narcissism truly at its core needs to have a pervasive and enduring pattern of behaviors that they engage in regardless of the consequences. So it's not somebody who just shows up in one relationship selfishly, grandiose. This is a pattern that they engage in throughout their entire life. So, they have these strained relationships, superficial relationships with their families, with their friends, with previous romantic partners. So I just wanted to clarify that already from the start. I thought that was important. And they are fundamentally impaired in the way that they see the world, right? Yes. Personality disorders clinically is defined by the way we think, feel, and behave. And by definition, narcissism is a disorder, which means they are disordered in the way they think, feel, and behave, right? Mm-hmm. Then the way they show up are very different, right? We have the overt narcissist, which we kind of see in social media or in pop culture and movies, right? The grandiose person, that's the life of the party that shows up and everybody can tell. And it's kind of like, oh yeah, that guy's a narcissist, or that woman's a narcissist, right? The one that's very easy to spot.
So that's one of the types. So overt,
one of the types. Okay. The one that got me into this, right? Because I didn't even, I was looking for love and I came out with a PhD in narcissism. I joke about this all the time, right? My ex, my partner.
Sometimes our experiences are what bring us on this path. And I think everything, even as awful as being with someone with narcissism, the beauty of what you're bringing out of it, right? And like I can relate to that, and a lot of people can relate to that. The healing journey and what you learn about yourself, and you learn about this actual diagnosis and what people with this, and you realize it wasn't me as much as you thought it was.
Yes.
So I'm grateful your journey has brought you to your doctorate in this.
Yes, right. I had to radically accept that, and now I love it.
It's amazing.
But my, the overt, and this is, even being a therapist, it brought me a lot of shame not being able to identify in real time in the relationship. And I can talk about this a little bit later, but it's not even with, and my ex was, so we talked about the overt, and he was a covert narcissist.
Talk about that. So this is another type, covert, which is, I just learned about this one a couple years ago, and I was like, holy crap, how did I never learn about this? So I think a lot of people can learn from this part, because we all can blatantly see a loud, proud, egotistical, narcissist. But tell me about this covert, because this is where like the good stuff is.
Yeah, the covert, in my opinion, and a lot of studies are the most insidious ones. They're more towards, because narcissism's on a spectrum, right? Narcissists are the lower ends, and then it goes to antisocial personality disorder, to sociopathy, to psychopathy. So it's on a spectrum.
Explain some of those a little bit for people that aren't clinical.
Yeah, absolutely. So we all know what a psychopath is, right? Somebody who's gonna, like, a serial killer. Sociopath as well, somebody who doesn't someone who doesn't accept societal norms. They don't necessarily have any empathy. They are, I'm sorry?
They're a little scary.
They are very scary. They are very scary.
Documentaries and things like that, but those people do exist all around us. No emotional connection.
Mm-hmm. We call them the dark triad in the clinical world. Narcissism is a part of the dark triad. These are the type of people that you honestly really want to avoid. They could cause severe injuries, violence, and even fatalities. They do not care about other people. They don't see other people as actual humans. They don't have the ability to put themselves in your shoes. Antisocial personality is someone who's, antisocial, a lot of people think that means they just don't like talking to others and they're introverted. No, by antisocial, I mean is that they don't follow societal norms.
Right.
Like, laws don't exist to them, right? They do not care. Yeah. And with narcissism and with this dark triad, you can possess traits from each into a narcissist, right? So this is where it gets really scary, where a narcissist can have sociopathic or psychopathic traits, meaning that they don't care about causing you harm. They don't care about breaking the law. They don't care about taking all your money. And this is where the abuse gets so severe, with the financial abuse, the sexual abuse, violent abuse. That's when you can kind of tell that your narcissist might be a little bit more towards the psychopathy end of it. Is that?
Yes, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
How can like a covert narcissist kind of sneak up on you and not even know?
So a covert narcissist is, you won't even tell, because they're the type of person that they're very quiet. At a party, they'll probably be on their phone. Everybody calls them they're always like that nice person, right? When you talk about someone, oh yeah, they're nice. There's nothing really more to say about them, because nobody really knows anything else but them, other than they show up as quote unquote nice, which is so intriguing. And,
are they known to have personas? Like personas that they can turn on and off?
They're quite charming, but they're not the loud. It's not that obnoxious, intense in your face, right? It's that particular person that's going to be kind of chill at the party. They'll make jokes here and there, but you won't overtly be able to see them. That's why, especially when you're in a romantic, usually only the partner of a covert narcissist can really tell that they're a covert narcissist. When you're with a covert,
with them, that's my question. Can people spot it when they're with them if they don't know, or do they sometimes find out after the fact?
After the fact. So when you're with a covert narcissist, it doesn't feel like clear abuse, right? And this is what I was kind of trying to get into, because I was in one. I didn't really understand, right? I was like, this doesn't feel right, okay? Because it's not as clear as name calling. It's subtle digs at you, right? So the honeymoon stage is exactly the love bombing with narcissists, right? They treat you as if you're God's gift to earth. They mirror all the qualities that you have, and that's why they're so seductive. They will show up literally as if like they're your soulmate, and they'll paint you a picture, and they slowly just start throwing these little digs at you. But it's not as overtly as the overt narcissist does, right? It feels, and it's not something you can even put a label to. That's why a lot of victims don't even know what's going on, because it's like, is this abuse? Is this not abuse? Am I being overly sensitive? It could be something so subtle as, oh, you didn't do your nails today, but then that turns into, oh, I don't want to engage in sexual interaction with you because you didn't do your nails today.
Right.
But do you know what I mean?
Yes.
It sounds so subtle that it's not so, and this is why a lot of victims don't even want to get help, because it's kind of like, what am I even getting help for?
Yeah. And so how can people identify some of these things, like for themselves?
So a covert narcissist, they don't yell. They're not going to yell at you when you're getting into arguments. They will probably do the opposite. They end up stonewalling. So stonewalling means that they will sit there in silence while you're trying to talk to them. You'll try to talk to them about your feelings, and they'll completely shut down. And that is actually a form of it's emotionally abusive, because you as the partner then start to get louder to try to get them to engage in conversation with you. So one of the signs is definitely if you can't communicate with your partner, if they just shut down intentionally, right? If they intentionally shut down because they don't want to talk to you, because they enjoy you freaking out to get them to talk to you, that is a sign.
Yes.
They are very kind of passive aggressive in the way that they talk to you as well. If they're not stonewalling you, they'll just kind of dismiss you and minimize you, but they don't.
Talk about stonewalling real quick.
I'm sorry?
Tell me a little bit, explain stonewalling for people that don't know.
Okay, so stonewalling again is when somebody intentionally ignores you when you're trying to have a conversation with them.
Yes. Okay.
So it's not necessarily it's intentionally. They're doing it in a sadistic way for you to feel like you are being ignored, because you are. You are being ignored. You are being dismissed. It's a form of control. They want to show that, hey, you speak when I tell you to speak, and I will respond when I want to respond.
Yes.
It is very insidious. And as a survivor of that, I mean, it can feel so overwhelming. You can feel like, why do they not care about me? Because they're not treating you like they care about you.
Right. And is it a thing where people quite go into the questioning themselves?
You start to question yourself as well, because they'll some comments will be like, why are you trying to start a fight right now? But it will be very calm and even keeled the way they say it. And this
almost nonchalant, right?
Nonchalant. There's always something with you, right? Like, Amanda, why are you trying to start a fight right now? There's always something with you. And you'll reflect, being like, wait, what? I'm not even trying to start a fight, dude. I'm asking you how you felt about the apartment that we just viewed together, because we're about to move in.
Right.
And then they're like, there's always something with you. God, why you're always wanting to start a fight.
Right. Like even if it's
something as basic as that. You can get into a fight into something as basic as what you want to go out for dinner for, going on a date, trying to decide. They are going to make you feel like you are the most complicated, dramatic person in the world, because you're like, I don't know what I want. Do I want Chinese? That response to the narcissist, a covert narcissist, they're going to take that and basically make you feel like you are insane. How can you not make a decision? There's always something with you.
You're too much.
You're too much. No one would want to put up with your shit, right? Yeah. As in, what? Like, I don't know what I want to eat. Why is that such a big deal? And that's why it's so confusing too, because when you say these things to your friends, like you're like, yeah, I couldn't decide what I wanted to eat for dinner. And you tell your friends the reaction, it doesn't feel, it's like, they're kind of like, what? That's so weird. Like, just make a decision. Just make a decision and just go get Chinese if you want Chinese. It doesn't sound so as abrasive as the physical abuse or that type of stuff.
Yeah, and that's what's interesting. Like, and how, in your experience, does a covert narcissist like keep you around? Like, is there a push and a pull game with that? Is there a come close, get far away? Like, do you see any of that in your experience?
It's very similar. So they do the exact same thing in the abuse. The cycle of abuse with the narcissist, it goes from the idealization phase.
Mm-hmm.
That is the first stage. That's what survivors call the love bombing stage. That is when they are mirroring. We call it mirroring. The clinical word for it is actually called twinning. So
Okay.
twinning means that they pick up on qualities within you that they do not possess, and they are mirroring them back to you. So everything that you could possibly want, they're basically mirroring you, but like all the qualities that you love about yourself back at you. So you're like, man, I found my soulmate. Like, this person's great, right? It's like I'm dating myself. Oh, amazing, right? But in a good way, kind of, you know?
Because like when you're like pretty, like I'm 42. I've been in great relationships. I'm a good relationship person. Like, I know how to have a healthy relationship. I know how to show up, and like I know what I have and what I bring to the table. And I want someone to treat me like I treat them. Like, I know I treat someone great, you know? And so when you do receive that back and it's not consistent and goes back and forth and it's kind of like this, you definitely start to question yourself.
100%, especially in the beginning when it's all sunshine and rainbows and they're telling you that they couldn't ever, that they prayed to God for you to come into their lives. And what human being doesn't want to hear that?
Oh,
Especially from someone that you're attracted to, you're
we all
starting to
want that.
date.
We all want that. We want to love and be loved, and we want to find the right person that like we can, that is, both challenges us and makes us feel like comfortable. Like we just want to be loved, love and be loved out there, right? That's what most people want.
Yes.
And it comes back to self-love. I mean, all of it. We do want that partnership. We crave that connection. And like what you're sharing, when it's this feels like this too good to be true thing, and then you kind of get bombed, like, I guess like I just think that the covert part is just something that so many people don't know about. And I love that you're talking about this.
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of people don't know about it. And we all want to be loved, and we all want that. And then comes the devaluing stage, which is the next part of how they start to basically tear us down. They start to tear us down. And this is where the abuse comes in, and the subtle jabs come in, and the subtle criticism, right? The passive aggressive comments, withholding sex. So a lot, what they've noticed in studies, overt narcissists actually are hypersexual. So a lot of times they'll be sexually abusive in the sense that they'll kind of force sex onto the partners. Coverts are the opposite. They will withhold sex from you. And let me tell you, that will drive you absolutely insane. Because can you imagine what that does to your self-esteem when your partner is refusing to engage in sexual activity with you? And that
Especially if it wasn't like that for a period of time, and then it turns into that can make I've heard this with people I know. It can make them feel like the most beautiful person in the world, feel like they're like, what's wrong with me? Am I not attractive? They were attracted to me. Like, is it because I'm something wrong with me? Do I not do that good? Like it definitely can challenge those things in people.
Spot on. Because in the love bombing stage, they're telling you you're God's gift to earth, and now all of a sudden they're not wanting to touch you with the 10-foot pole, and you're like, "What? Hold on, I don't."
What's like this?
Yeah, what? You were obsessed with me 2 days ago. Now you don't want. Now you don't even want to touch me.
Yeah,
And they won't tell you nothing, right? They won't say anything. There's no communication in a healthy partnership. There's a communication like, hey, can you please put the dishes away? It would really, be really helpful because I came home from work. If you try to have that conversation with the narcissist, it's going to be like World War III, right? But the covert narcissist isn't going to start screaming at you. They're just going to ignore you. That's when they're going to withhold sex from you as a form of punishment. That's how they do it. Instead of yelling at you, they're not going to want to have intimacy with you that night. And all because you asked them to put the dishes in the sink.
right.
And it further goes into, oh my gosh, like I have to behave in certain ways in order to get my basic needs met in this relationship.
That's spot on from
Right.
everything I've learned and heard, yeah. And so this love bombing stage, and does some of the behaviors seem avoidant, like the come close, get away? Like, is that something that's common in covert narcissism?
Yeah. So they will do the same thing where they will they come to you, they love bomb you the breadcrumbs, and then all of a sudden they don't want to be with you. I say narcissists all as a whole are consistently inconsistent. Okay. They are consistently inconsistent. And all my survivors that I work with, they're like, oh my God. When I say that, it's like the light bulb. They're like, oh my God, you are so right. Because like, we never know what version we're going to get, but it's consistent that we never know what version we're going to get.
Yeah.
1 minute they're in love with
mind F, if I've ever seen one. That's a mind F, mind fuck, because you're like, wait, I don't understand this. Like, I know I'm not crazy. Like, I know that this is what was going on, and now what? Like, you're just like shot, like confused, like constant confusion when it gets to that place, because
it's like 1 minute, and even in my relationship for 4 years, right? One weekend we were talking about getting married, having children, moving into an apartment. A week later, me thinking everything's fine, I get discarded. He goes away on a business trip, never comes home.
Yeah.
Right? Never comes home. And that was the final discard. Right. And never saw him again for 4 years living together. Right. A week before talking about marriage, a week later, doesn't come home. All his stuff's gone. Never see him again. I mean, and sudden abandonment is not normal behavior. And I think that's also a crucial piece for people to see. Sudden abandonment
out of nowhere. No, like, I mean, in hindsight, I think when you unravel it, you can be like, oh, that was kind of a sign that I didn't see, but it's not signs you see when you're in it. It's signs when you're taking apart the pieces and going, this was a little bit of a flag. This was a flag, but like, it does feel like it's out of nowhere. And does it, in your experience, does it seem when there's like next steps or higher levels of commitment that happens? Like when, like you're saying, you were going to move in together, like, and someone I know's experience, it was when they were going to like freeze their eggs, and they had gone through this whole process. And then right when it was about the time to do that, that's when the person shifted, held back the intimacy. And then they also, pulled back. And I watched, someone really suffer with that, just like ghosted and didn't even own any of that stuff. Like there was no, their idea to freeze the eggs. There was no, and I felt really bad for this person. It was hard.
It's awful because they do tend to choose special events or significant events and holidays that mean a lot to you as a way. Everything they do is a form of control. They want to take away that special day for you, and they want to make it about them, right? Like your friend with the eggs now, instead of thinking about the eggs and thinking about wanting to have this relationship or have a child, now this beautiful day has turned into being discarded or this relationship. And it is really insidious. And this is what's really confusing for survivors in a relationship. And there is the push-pull, because in the relationship, right, that's the final discard, the dramatic one. That's like they sudden abandon and then nothing, or they hover and they come back. But within the relationship, they do little mini things. And then the parallel with addiction, Amanda, is like hand in hand, right? It's like an alcoholic to a bottle. With the survivor, we can feel that this person, right, just like alcoholics know that alcohol is not the solution, but I can't stop picking it up. I can't stop going back to you, because you come back to me in a pretty little bow and tell me everything that I've ever wanted to hear. And of course, I am starving for attention and affection, because you're now criticizing me. You're now not having sex with me. So when you tell me one little thing that I'm beautiful, I'm going to think, oh man, the old you's coming back that I fell in love with in the honeymoon stage.
You hang on to those pieces.
You hang on. You're starving. You're starving for affection. So yeah, that little, or, they'll bring you a little bouquet of roses. They don't apologize. You're never going to hear a sorry. But they'll give you a little bouquet of roses after rejecting you completely the night before. And you're like, amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. I love you. And it's not your fault. It's actually, and this is something I really wanted to bring home in this specific webinar, because there's a lot of survivor turned experts out there that provide these coaching calls, which is great. But something that the new studies are suggesting is any person who's been in a relationship with what we call pathological love, and pathological love means anyone with a pathological disorder, a personality disorder like narcissism, has trauma. There's no getting out of it. And that only treatment is trauma treatment. But with narcissistic abuse survivors, they have a typical trauma. Okay. And that's not the same type of trauma as a normal someone who survives abuse. And it looks different for therapists. And this is why it's so important.
Into that, I'm definitely encouraged to learn more about this piece.
It looks so different, and so it's really sad because there's only an institution now. It just developed the International Association for Pathological Love, and that's where I'm getting my certification, right? So it hasn't been a thing. It's actually
only clinicians can do, or psychologists, or is this something that people can do as just a general, like, can I add it on to like what I do?
So the certification that I'm doing fully is only for clinicians. However, they do have an informed one that's a little bit lower that I think that you can do. And I know they're starting to create more trainings.
Because if someone comes to me, like say they're coming to me for coaching and something like that, like, and they have gone through what they have, I will make sure that they're working with someone like you. And then I can help them in the in-between things of like, okay, this is how you get through it. This is what is clinically being recommended. This is what you're working on with Nina. And this is what we, I just want to chime in to note it, like Beautiful P, who just wrote, says, my ex is exactly like this. 21 years. I finally had enough. Well, I hope that for you, Beautiful P, that you're getting some help and some therapy with a professional like Nina, who's an expert in this area and has all this experience, because it leaves you questioning yourself. It leaves you questioning everything, and it leaves you broken beyond. And the amount of time of healing of what I've seen is not your typical healing from a relationship. This shit takes a long time. So like, we hear you, we see you. Do you have any words for Beautiful P from
I'm echoing that. And the healing, it takes a long time depending on the severity of the relationship and the length of it. The longer you're with them, the more trauma you have, the more healing you have. And to make sure that you're going to a therapist that is certified or has intensive training in working with survivors of personality disorders.
Yes.
Trauma training with personality disorders, because again, I'll get into it right now. It's not the same, and is not the same as a domestic violence, like a DV victim, right? A lot of those abusers are just one-time incidents, and clinically, an anger management, that will help, that will fix them, and they can come back. But studies suggest now, the new studies, there is no curing narcissism. There is no curing narcissism. And a lot of survivors out there and a lot of these coaches are teaching that narcissism comes from childhood trauma. And there's a little bit of it that's true, but new development is actually now showing that it's genetic.
Nina, I just had a backup plan. I'm going to open your Instagram app, and I'm going to record from my phone so we can have both, because it was not going live on Instagram. So hop on, just open your app and my live, and I'm just going to add you. So hop on, just open Okay, and then we're just going to have to mute it. Okay, I'm inviting you right now, so you're coming in. And then just like mute it or turn your volume all the way down. Okay, so we
mine's muted.
Mute it?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna mute both of ourselves on there, but you can hear us on here. So you can take off that video too, Nina. Yeah, take that video off, because I'm just gonna video the actual screen of us. So yeah, there you go. Okay, so Nina and I are live on multiple streams here. So I couldn't figure out how to get the Instagram connected, because it's new on live stream. So I just wanted to be able to include this on Instagram, although I'm holding my phone, like looking at us on the camera, but I think it's better than nothing. So Okay, so Beautiful Piece said there's no experts in their area. What would you recommend for someone that doesn't have someone who's a specialist in narcissism? Like, can they do things across state lines? Like, are you able to do things across state lines, Nina?
Yeah, so I am talking about implementing coaching for people across state lines. Absolutely. So as long as somebody isn't at risk for themselves in the moment, not having high risk behaviors, I'm open to working with people across state lines and
Can you
telehealth.
mute yourself? I can hear you in the background because mine's all the way down. On your Instagram. Okay, so here's a good one from Yasmin. So what are some signs that my boundaries are being violated in a relationship?
That's a really good question. So boundaries for, can you hear? Does it sound like I'm being?
Yeah, just keep it down all the way if you can even mute it, because I have it on here.
It's so weird. I keep muting it and then I put it down and it doesn't mute.
It's okay. Go ahead. Maybe I can mute it.
Okay, so boundaries are a set of guidelines that teaches other people what how to interact with us, right? So boundaries are crucial in relationship.
Yes.
And certain boundaries can look like maybe one time you're not in the mood, you don't want to have sex, saying no to that. So somebody who is not listening to you and trying to get intimate with you, that is a violation of boundaries. Somebody wanting to spend your money, your hard-earned money. A lot of narcissists abuse that, right? They want to take your paycheck and spend it. That is a boundary violation.
Right.
Somebody wanting, essentially, if you say no to something and they try to push it, that is a boundary violation. Something I say to a lot of survivors, no is a full sentence.
Yes.
Right. No is
about boundaries in the relationship, like when they're being like emotionally kind of,
calling you names. So calling you like stupid or, some of absurd derogatory names, trying to control what you wear. So if they make comments about what you look like, what you wear, a lot of survivors, a lot of victims in the relationship abuse causes us either to gain or lose a lot of weight because of the cortisol in our brains, right? We retain a lot more fat when we're eating a lot more from the trauma. So if they're making comments, a lot of them make comments. And the irony is you're gaining weight because you're in this relationship and then they're shaming you. They're shaming you for this and they're shaming you for how you look like. And that's a whole nother thing about body image, which is awful, right? It's awful. And that is a violation in general. Your partner criticizing you for gaining weight. I mean, that's abusive. That is abusive.
What about your partner wanting you to wear more revealing clothing? Has that ever been a thing?
A lot of narcissists don't want that because they want you to only wear that in your own home. So maybe they'll want that individually, like in the home, they want you to wear something very sexy, but when you're out, they want you to cover up because you're theirs. They don't want other people to see that.
Okay. Anything else along that question? Because I have another one. Oh, someone's saying this hits home. Any more questions or answers towards Yasmin's question about any signs of boundaries before we scooch to other questions?
Unless anyone else has a question about that one. But yeah, no, pretty much trying to control what you wear, control who you see, They might try to isolate you from family and friends. Yeah.
Yes, I was gonna say that's a big one. Isolating from friends.
I forgot. That's like one of the biggest ones. Sorry, my brain.
Spending time with just them, and you are not really allowed to have that rapport and relationship.
Oh, my ex did this too. So he would subtly, try to make comments even about my family. And he'll be like, they're not supportive of you. They're not supportive. And it's a brainwash. Okay. So narcissists, so them violating our boundaries and their criticism is actually the same tactics that cult leaders use.
Yes.
And child kidnappers use. We are brainwashed in this relationship. They literally teach us that no one else is safe other than them. That I can't trust my judgment because any decision that I make, which is another boundary violation, they're going to call me stupid. They're going to tell me that I'm wrong. They're going to make me feel like I am incompetent without them. that they need to make any decision for me. I can't hang out with anyone that they don't like. I cannot speak to anybody. I can't dress the way I want to unless they tell me to. You are basically their puppet.
Now, is it common in this kind of relation for them to keep you away from your family and friends, but bring you into theirs? Is that something that's common?
No, because they don't have a good relationship with their family and friends. And that is crucial across the board. Narcissists do not have the ability to build genuine connections. What do you need for connections? Authenticity.
Well, what if they're surface level? You know what I mean? Like there's surface level, like a friend or two, and like one close family member. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean, in the beginning of the relationship, they might introduce you as of like, this is the love of my life in the very beginning when there's no foundation, right? They're like, yeah, this is the person I want. And that can kind of confuse you into thinking, oh my God, they just introduced me to like their grandma. We're going to get married.
I have an Instagram question because I'm on here too. I'm trying to do both. So how to build self-esteem after narcissistic abuse and share red flags for future relationships?
Really good question. Two separate parts. Building self-esteem. So self-care is actually the number one tool when you leave this relationship. Okay. Because your entire relationship has been focused on your abuser, how they think, how they feel. Everything's been about them. So it's incredibly common when you leave to have this overwhelming feeling of who the heck am I? What do I even like? What is the meaning of life? Right? Like you feel really lost. And let's shift the narrative. This could be a really positive experience of rediscovering yourself. So building self-esteem really looks like engaging in activities that you enjoy. And this could be something as little as like going to like an art class, right? Building on these little activities that you couldn't do because God forbid you tried to, take out a coloring book in the relationship because your narcissistic ex didn't want you to. They'd probably criticize you for it.
Right.
So engaging in these little activities that make you feel good, taking a bubble bath, going to get your nails done, having a spa day, learning how to surf, whatever it may be, just doing things for yourself, putting yourself first is so crucial.
Yes, that's so good. I had a friend that was doing boxing, one-on-one yoga, Reiki, meditation, just like doing all the things at the beginning just to be able to function, So that's one part of the question. Does that too is a two-part question, right? How to build this esteem. Do esteemable things. Do things that make you feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other part was and share red flags for future relationships. What are some red flags to look out for in overt and covert narcissism?
So lack of accountability is a huge one. If they have never said the word sorry, if anytime you try to share your feelings, they just flip it back. Like blame shifting, right? Anytime you try to say, hey, this upset me, they're going to shift it onto somebody else. Or external.
Never.
Hmm?
Never, ever, ever them.
Oh, never. God, never. They can't tolerate that. That's no. Grandiosity. So this is a huge difference with covert and overt. So overt grandiosity is, that they're out. Everyone, look at me, life of the party. With covert, it is more subtle in the sense that your world needs to be surrounded. Like you need to surround yourself. It's all about them. They should be your world. So it's not this overt life of the party for everybody else. Nobody else sees that. But the expectation is you drop everything. You have to go do anything that they want you to do.
And can a covert or an overt be in a relationship with a woman that shines and is confident and a woman shines brighter than them?
No, but that's what they're attracted to.
Or men, vice versa. You know what I mean?
Right, men, but they usually choose, and this is something as well. So survivors are actually incredibly intelligent, open-minded, resilient. They have phenomenal qualities that narcissists prey on. That's what they want. They like that, and then they want to tear you down. So all of those positive qualities, those beautiful qualities that make you who you are, they're so envious of it. So they try to make you feel less than, and that's where the devaluing. So the whole part is they're trying to basically suck all of this out of you. So you really do feel like you just got, it's like a parasite, right? When they leave, you're like, who am I? Because everything about you that you once loved, that they loved about you, they literally tore you down. They try to make you feel this small.
Yeah.
Everything they once loved about you, they're now criticizing.
Totally.
So yeah, you're up here, right? I was so confident before this relationship. And then I literally was down here. I felt worthless.
Yes.
So no, they enter the relationship with someone who's high confident to make you anything but confident.
Right. And I don't think that they can handle if someone has a greater spotlight than them.
No.
You know? So let's go to this next one. I broke up with my boyfriend who was verbally and physically abused me. I've been impulsively seeing different guys for no reason, and I cannot emotionally connect with any of them. I don't know if I want a relationship or not. I mean, I'm not, the psychologist here, Nina is, but my thought on this is if you are feeling this way, taking time alone to connect with yourself, to get clear on who you are and what you bring to the table, then you don't need to seek out a relationship. It will find you. And even if you are looking, get into a healthier place and heal first, because that, my mother's on here and she said hi, but I watched my mother get physically, abused, domestic violence. And like that breaks a woman. That breaks a woman or a man, because I'm hearing it now so much in men too that are getting physically assaulted by their wives. So I'm not just saying this is a men or woman thing, but for me, when I see your comment with nothing but love, just no judgment at all, I think it's time for you to take care of you and love you. What are your thoughts, Nina?
Spot on, especially after you leave an abusive relationship, you are traumatized. Your brain is in survival mode. And oftentimes when our brain is in survival mode, it makes total sense why you're jumping from relationship to relationship, because you don't know what to do, right? You're trying to seek comfort in external places. That's an illusion, kind of like you did in this relationship. So what I'm hearing is you really need to take time for yourself and heal. Find a trauma therapist that can help you really build that foundation of yourself. So you don't feel this need to jump from toxic relationship to relationship, because we also get confused as to what is a healthy versus unhealthy relationship after leaving an abusive one. And we may tolerate and continue to tolerate toxic behaviors.
Yeah. And you're not able to see through clear lens on what is healthy if you're not like taking care of yourself. If you're taking care of yourself and putting yourself first and healing from that, like you're going to have a fresh, different perspective once you get through that. And we can do it with other behaviors too, not just in dating.
Yes.
Self-sabotaging behaviors. I have another good question. They're coming in. Okay. What are some of the signs that I am ready to trust again? Nina, I'm going to let you handle this one. I'm going to run to the restroom because
of course. We did. Sorry about that. So they're coming in. Yes. So what are some of the signs that I'm ready to trust again? So honestly, from the Institute of International Harm, we do suggest that you take a break from dating right when you're on your healing journey, at least like 6 months to a year. Some signs that you are ready to trust again is when you're not easily triggered by everything, right? In the beginning, we become hyper vigilant. We lack trust within ourselves. We second guess everything that we do. So a sign that we're healing is feeling more confident in our judgment, that we're not so like hyper vigilant on this person. Also, that we're not falling for words, right? With narcissists in the beginning, with the love bombing and we all do it. We fall for this illusion, this package. We romanticize. So when you're ready to trust again, you need to start slowing down and getting to know the person for who they really are, not the words. And, words are very easy. It's really easy to lie to you and tell you all the things that you want to hear. But being able to slow down and really get to know this person. And as soon as they show a sign of a red flag, we leave, we don't stay. So I hope that answers your question. It's kind of learning to gain that trust in yourself and having that self-confidence of not tolerating the same BS that you were tolerating before. But really good question. Thank you. any other questions?
To that question, let me see if this is showing you. It's showing us close. Oh, it's actually working pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna keep it on there because it's a pain in the butt to hold. What was her question? I'm gonna go back to her question real quick. It said, to trust again. Like also like what I shared with you, Nina. Like, I shared with someone today. I was talking to, but like to trust again, like my therapist tells me that I give away my trust and like all and my love and everything so fast. Go slow. Make people earn that shit, because I would get trust everybody with everything. I was kind of like, living in like a pink cloud kind of life, but make people earn it. Take your time, take your time to get to know people, take your time in a relationship, go slow and steady. So you really get to know, don't like move in, right away, stay with someone, really get to know them, because it takes a really long time before you truly get to know someone. So this way, if you're going slow, you're protecting your heart and you're building trust. Thank you for your response. I appreciate you. I can reassure you that I trust. I can't wait. How can I reassure my partner that my trust issues are not a reflection of their character? I'd say by getting your own therapy and support. If you're not one, but go ahead on that.
Yeah, bingo, spot on. I was literally about to say that. You took the words right out of my mouth. Getting your own therapy. I'm sorry.
We're aligned, girl. We're very aligned. We figured that out. Okay.
It's like telepathy with that.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Getting your own therapist and getting your own support. Because we don't want to put that all on our partner, right? We have to do our own internal healing, learning to, develop that level of trust within ourselves. Because after leaving this abusive relationship, we learn how to distrust ourselves. We don't trust ourselves at all.
Yeah.
So
being honest with them and telling them, listen, this is what I've been through. And there's going to be times where I'm going to get triggered. And I want you to know it's not about you. And I want to be able to openly talk to you about it so we can talk through it, And if that's something they're not a big communicator and you're not then have a therapist, have a third party, like there's so much communication growth. Even there's no like issues in a relationship, that like, I know for myself, before I've been with my boyfriend for a year and a couple of months now. Before we ever have that discussion of living together, we have had the discussion before I ever live with him. No compromises. We have to go to therapy together. Like that's just where I stand now. Like before I ever live with another man, I want to go to make sure we're in therapy together first. Not because there's something wrong, but for communication purposes and to be able to understand one another.
Mm-hmm.
So I think those things hopefully those are answers. And again, if there's more questions after that you didn't feel comfortable writing on here, you can message Nina and I, and we can point you in the right direction. I know Nina is accepting new clients. I'm just hoping so. Are you?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I am.
So Nina and are you able to work in other states? Because our psychologist for Next Level is able to work in other states.
Yeah, so I can do it. I am able to through coaching. I can do that. Yeah.
Okay, but there's also something they passed. Maybe I'll connect you with him or somebody on your team knows, but he was able to do something that like got him in 35 states as a psychologist that he's licensed in. That he
there's new. Yeah, eventually it's going to happen for us. Mm-hmm.
If you don't have the information, because I know he did it and it was helpful for us because he works on all of our intervention. He works with all of our intervention families, like doing the prep, like a prep session for them before and after. And we needed him to be able to work in multiple states for that stuff. So
I would love that. Yeah. Thank you.
So yeah, so definitely finding support and help. Are there support groups out there for this? Like besides getting your own therapy or working with a therapist and a coach, for those in between times, like are there support groups for this out there specifically?
There are support groups. There's specific sites, and what I can do is kind of get some documents and I can send them to you as well and post them for anyone on here to kind of go to these specific websites.
For anyone that you particularly want me to put in this chat?
Yeah, it's called survivortreatment.com. There is some resources on there. Oh, where'd you go?
Okay, I'm going to put that on there. And let's talk about, okay, let's since we've talked about all the things that it is and isn't and whatnot, I would like to talk about how it's thrown around too much. Like, you're a narcissist, you're a narcissist. Like, this person's like, how can we work on that? How can we work on not just throwing around this word that is a serious label and a serious diagnosis that people are just throwing around, kind of like, I think that it was one of the words of the year, just like everybody used to be bipolar. Now everybody is, everyone is a narcissist. So like, how can we do better with just saying that about people?
Well, it's a double-edged, the irony is everybody in the world is using that. And then also there's survivors being like, are you sure my partner is a narcissist? So it's like two different things of people becoming obsessed with this word. And I think what we need to do is let go of this diagnosis, let go of the pathology, and focus on the behaviors. Yes. Right. So and I can't emphasize this enough. The enduring means repetitive, consistent behaviors. So we're not when someone's on a narcissist, on a one-off, if they have a history of these abusive behaviors, let's just call it like it is. They are someone that's toxic, they're abusive, and we're not going to engage with them. There's no need to throw around narcissists. They're not whatever. No, if they're abusing you, get out, don't engage, and that's it.
If they're belittling you, if they're not meeting your needs, if they're not loving you the way you should be, you should and know that you want to be loved. If you want to, have a certain kind of connect, like, you have that choice. Like, you don't have to stay in anything. Like, I'll tell you right now, I've left 2 marriages, not because they're both wonderful. Like, I have 2 wonderful ex-husbands and they're wonderful dads, and I'm so blessed. But, even in a healthy relationship, like, if you're not fully happy, you definitely have the autonomy, whoever you are, man or woman, to leave whoever, and I know some people it's for financial or it's for fear. I know my mother was scared to leave her abusive husband because he threatened her life. But there's so many sources out there now that you can call and get that help, like domestic violence hotlines and things like that. So you have a choice to stay and get out of any relationship that you choose. One more question from Instagram says, how can I establish healthy boundaries in my relationship after experiencing narcissistic abuse?
How can I establish healthy boundaries? So first of all, again, like I said, boundaries are a set of guidelines that we create so other people know how to engage in a relationship with us. That's where self-care and self-discovery comes in, because you need to discover what your boundaries are, right? What's okay to me might not be okay for Amanda. We're 2 completely different people. So sitting with yourself and thinking, what is okay for me? Am I okay with being spoken to in this way? Am I okay with being told how I can and cannot dress?
How about this one on here? I just pinned it.
Oh, mine never wanted me to wear makeup ever. Okay, so your body, your choice, right? If somebody's telling you that you can't wear makeup, are you okay with that? Are you okay?
No. I'm not telling me I can't do anything.
Exactly. I'm not okay with that either, right?
I want to do more. Tell me I can't do something, bro.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'll put on a full face of makeup. Sorry.
No, that's definitely not okay.
Not okay. Somebody telling you what you can and cannot.
What you're saying, the establishing healthy boundaries after the narcissistic abuse would be like really learning who you are and your value system and your non-negotiables, and don't bend those. Those non-negotiables, you have, like, that's your self-worth and your self-value, and you deserve that. And if that person isn't aligned with it, there really are many fish in the sea. There's so many human beings out there. Like my boyfriend now, we walked by each other, I don't wonder how many times, taking our kids to school, but somehow found each other when we were supposed to, and he's the healthiest, most loving relationship I've ever had. But that came after a relationship that wasn't like that, And so it's just very refreshing. And that is out there and available to anyone. But you got to let yourself heal and you got to love yourself.
And that's also a red flag. Somebody who's not respecting your boundaries, that means they don't respect you. Yeah. That means that relationship won't work. That means get out. That's not someone not respecting your boundaries isn't an invitation to stay and teach them how to treat you. Another huge what?
People always want to think that like, oh, well, they're going to change. I'm seeing a glimpse of like growth, or I'm seeing, them coming around. And I like at this point, women, men, don't get a fixer upper. Get someone that comes with the package.
No, I mean, this was a question earlier, and sorry, like as we talk,
No, keep going. I love it.
A red flag. If you have to teach a grown adult basic things that a kindergartner teaches, and I mean, please and thank you. I mean, don't, answer a question when someone's talking to you, like things that my 5-year-old niece already does without me having to ask. That is a red flag. You should not have to teach a grown adult how to engage in conversation. And I mean, something is, hey, look at me when I'm talking to you. Like, I'm sitting here telling a 38-year-old grown man to look at me when I'm talking to him. Like, what? Yeah. What? That is absurd. But we minimize it when we're in this relationship. But that is also abuse. It's like, I have to tell you to look at me. I have to tell you to respond when I say something. That is just basic manners in an adult. So please, it is not your responsibility to teach a grown adult how to show up like an adult. It's not.
Or defend them. Like, my friend that, was in that situation I was talking about, she was constantly having to defend where her ex would fall short in communication to the world, and always make excuses. Like, you don't, like, that's not your job either, to make excuses to where they don't show up, like.
Yeah. If you're lying to your friends and family about the facts of the relationship, red flag. If you can't tell them what's actually going on, red flag. If you're feeling the need that you have to make stuff up to defend them, red flag. If you're finding yourself not engaging in your own like activities, stuff that you used to love, like I used to go, me and Amanda used to work out at the same gym. I used to go there every day, and I stopped going. And something that abusers do is they will try to get you to stop engaging in activities that you really like. And that's what my ex would do. Oh, you don't want to spend time with me? You don't need to go to the gym. Why are you going to the gym? You want to go to the gym? There's men at the gym, to make me feel like guilty. And like, I'm like, I want to go to the gym for my own mental health, for my own self, right?
And our gym is a lot more women anyway. So not, it doesn't matter. Oh my God, so many dudes here. But yeah, no, that like, you should be able to be you, live in your truth, stand in your truth. You don't deserve push and pull. You don't deserve mixed messages. You don't deserve to go to somebody and want to have a conversation about your relationship and walk away feeling like, try to bring something to their attention and walk away feeling like you did something wrong every single time.
If anytime you try to talk about your feelings, it ends up in a fight, you're in a toxic relationship.
Or you walk away not even a fight, even if you walk away feeling like, oh my God, what did I do wrong? Like, when you know that you went there to confront something, and it's like, oh wait, how did I leave here crying and feeling like I fucked up? Those are things I hear too from people. So yeah. So, okay. So Nina, how can people find you that are either on, one of our many streaming things here? We're on LinkedIn, we're on my Facebook, we're on my work Facebook, we're on my YouTubes, and we're on LinkedIn. And also I have the Instagram, kind of going here on the side. I decided to add in later because I was not just accepting that Instagram wasn't going to be part of this today.
So I don't know if you already have my Instagram tagged. It's Nina B.
Tagged, yes. So I'm going to put it in the comments right here. What is your Instagram?
It's Nina B Counseling.
B Counseling.
My Instagram as well as my TikTok. Same username. I have my Facebook page, Nina Batista, LCSW.
Okay. And how do people reach out to you to like schedule?
And they can reach out to me through my Facebook page. Those of you in Florida, they can reach out through Therapeutic Oasis. Here.
What was your, I'm sorry, the Facebook one? Nina Batista what, counseling or LLC?
LCSW.
Okay. Okay, so perfect. So yeah, and if there's any questions that come up after this that you want to ask Nina or I, or you need some support, want to find a therapist in your area, or you want to work with Nina, or you want to work with, a coach and a therapist, like with a collaboration with Nina and I, please reach out. We're both accepting, clients right now, and we both have a special heart and passion for this. Along with all the other things that go on in life, but you're not alone. You're not crazy. You deserve better, and you need to start with the self-love.
Yes.
What would be your final thoughts, Nina?
You're not crazy. It's not your fault. You don't deserve this. And yes, you're not alone. There is support out there. Please reach out if you need support. Healing is possible. It does get better. You will find yourself. You will find love again. I promise.
Yes.
And we are here for you if you need us.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nina, for your time today. And thank you for those who were patient with us, because we had some technical difficulties. But I will send you, Nina, like all of this. And when you finish the live stream, it'll give you an option to save your stuff.
Okay.
So I would do that. But also Yasmin from my team will save our stuff. So I'll send you like clips and different things you can play with to share on your feed as well.
That'd be great. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thanks so much, Nina. It was lovely seeing you in person and getting to hug you yesterday. What did your shirt say yesterday? Something about going to therapy today. I have my Thug Life shirt on. I got my Tupac to remind me.
I have my Biggie Small shirt I should have worn.
Oh, that'd be so funny. I just wear this. I feel like I need that little extra oomph, to remind me what a bad mamma jamma I am. So
I love that. My shirt, they said we
whole time. Sherry's been a dear friend of mine for almost like 17 years. She's a beautiful soul. Thank you, Sherry, for being on here. Thank you, Mama, for being on here. Thank you for your vulnerable questions and comments. Like, you guys all got really real on here, and I know that's so hard to do. So we see you and we feel you, and we send you a lot of love. All right. Thanks, love.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. This was awesome. And I will see you soon, hopefully.
All right. Follow Next Level Recovery Associates. Follow me, Amanda Marino. And, again, reach out for any questions.
Yeah. Follow Nina B Counseling for anything as well.
Much love, everybody. Have a beautiful day.
Bye.